I was watching because he did talk about his hairstyle. He called his hair during like Hold Your Fire like the Daniel Boone or something. And or who was it? The Born on a Mountaintop in Tennessee. What's the Daniel Boone, right?
No, that's Davy Crockett.
Davy Crockett. He called it the Davy Crockett hair. Hey everybody, welcome to Backtracking, the show where two old friends take a second listen to influential bands' catalogs, track by track. I'm Roth Bagdasarian.
And I'm Dan Fiden. We're taking this journey together, Roth and I, providing context, both personal and historical, on some legendary bands. For our first season, we've picked none other than Rush.
The office door closed early. A hidden bottle came out.
All right, folks, welcome back to side 2 of Backtracking Rush. Today we're talking about Presto.
I can't believe that we're already at side 2 of Presto, Roth. Do you realize that we only have, at this point, what is it, 13 album sides to go before we're finished with the entire catalog?
Well, wait, let's take a step back. With all the shit that's going on in the universe,
yeah,
never forget the Earth. You can't believe we're on side 2 of Presto? Like, really?
Yeah, I can't believe that we've gotten that far.
The Iranian president and his foreign minister went down in a helicopter, and you can't believe we're on side 2 of Presto?
Yeah, somehow or another, I think that was... this is harder to believe than that the Iranian president's helicopter has been shot down.
It was pretty close to the Armenian border. I think the Armos did it.
Really? You think so?
Maybe the Azeris did it. Maybe the Turks. You never know.
I don't know. We can opine on that on our geopolitics podcast called Backtracking Geopolitics.
One thing I do know for certain, though, neither you nor I did it because we were here recording Rush Backtracking podcast, side 2 of Presto. So let's get into it.
So Roth, let's get into it. I want to get into it right now. So Superconductor is the first song on this side. It is 4 minutes and 47 seconds long. It was written by the same people that always write these songs, Alex and Ged, and Neil wrote the lyrics. Yeah, these
are they related to the guys in the band?
Guys. All right, so why don't we listen to this one? Okay, let's just dive in.
Lurkston Pratt. So this song reminds me of Steve Roseberry for some reason, our buddy who played drums.
Really?
I think it's because like this was a song he always talked about. Maybe I'm wrong.
He liked this song?
I think he did.
Wow.
I think he did.
That really tells us something. Rosie Roseberry, if you're out there listening, we're gonna have to chat about some things because Roth, number one, let's talk. I don't want to get into the music yet, but let's talk about the lyrics. First thing, I interpret this song as like the exact opposite of Spirit of the Radio. It's like a bookend to Spirit of the Radio.
Uh-huh.
It is the negative, cynical
sensationalism, yeah.
Spirit of the Radio.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a very cynical take on the state of media at the time.
Yeah, okay. So I have another comment for you. See if you take this bait. You ready?
Okay.
I think that the lyrics to this song, I get it. He's talking about like, pop stars and kind of packaged commercial music, right?
Yeah.
That is like very obvious. But when you read through these lyrics, I feel like it would work a little bit better if there are a couple of characters in here and the primary character is this female pop star, right? But he doesn't just talk about the female pop star. He talks about some other male person, and it's unclear who that male person is, at least to me. I think it would have been better if he basically did 3 verses that were all about this kind of fictional female pop star that's like, you know, she goes into the commercial music machine, now she's in it and she's a superstar, and then maybe there's a third one that's like she's totally demented herself, the role becomes the actor. I think it would work. I think it would have worked a little bit better if he did that. But
I think it's about the people behind the scenes who deceive. I think it's about people he's met and known in the music business. Quite honestly, that's what I think it is.
So you're saying right here on Backtracking, you think this song is about Ray Daniels?
maybe Ray.
Wow.
What do you have to say
guys
about
heard
that?
It first. Wow.
I mean, it was Carly Simon singing about "You're So Vain." Was it Mick Jagger?
It was Ray Daniels. Oddly.
It was Ray Daniels too.
Yeah,
Wow.
It was also about that fucking Ray Daniels, man.
By the way,
nobody likes this guy.
This is just hitting me, dude. When I worked at Disney, I parked in the Zorro parking lot and I was walking from there to like the commissary. And as I was leaving the parking ramp, right, which is on the far side of the studio lot, a woman comes up to me and is like, "Excuse me, do you know where the old animation building is?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll walk you there." After about 10 steps, I look over and it's Carly Simon. So I'm walking along in the back lot of the Disney studios, and there's like maybe a 5 to 10 minute walk. And we're just making small talk. And I didn't say, I should have asked her, "Who are you singing about when you say who's so?" I just realized that now, like 20 years later.
You should have said, "Hey, have you ever heard the song Superconductor by Rush? Is that
about you?
That your song
is about Ray Daniels?
Is also about the same song as the same person as that?" So
yeah, I probably would have been fired on the spot if that happened. But
listen, I don't know. This is one of those songs lyrically that is a bit too kind of preachy.
Mm-hmm.
There is something to be said about writing a song about commercial music and how it sucks, but I don't know.
I want to take a different perspective here. I don't think it's that cynical. I think it's almost just kind of like tongue in cheek. Like, yeah, we see how it's made. It's fun for those who like it, but it is what it is. I don't like because the song is very poppy and you can dance. It's one of the few Rush songs you can actually dance to, and they say it, a strong and simple beat that you can dance to, and this song has it. Right?
Does it though? We're going to get into the music here in a second. This is the only song on this album that is in an odd time signature.
No, it's got a groove. You can dance to this. You can dance to Superconductor.
You heard it first from Rafi Dancing.
I will post to our
bags.
Instagram that you can dance. And then, by the way, I forgot to post our Hold Your Fire side 1 to Instagram, so I'll do that tonight. I will do side 2 in a timely.
Thanks for that. So, Raf, I think that I don't know. I think there are some flaws in this. I just don't love the theme of the lyrics, and I don't understand why he used the word superconductor. What is it? Feels a little bit like kind of when he was writing, you know, like Challenger or what? Not Challenger. What is it? The space shuttle song in the catalog. Challenger. Countdown. Yeah. So it feels a little bit like that, or like Chemistry.
5 years before Challenger disaster.
You know, like where he just throws in these like, you know, science words that are kind of new and people are talking about. I don't really understand what he means by superconductor within the context of this song. Do you?
I think you're reading too into it. I think what was going on in the band's mind was, "Hey, Neil, I think our fans are a little too, they were going too deep for them. Can we give them a little something lighthearted?" And he's like, "Yeah, I know this prick over at the record label, and I'll write about him. And he makes pop singers. It's kind of funny, but I'll write a little acerbic song about him. It'll be fun." Like, "Okay, it's a great job. Let's go get some beer after you do that, and we'll record it, and we'll send it out there. And I'm sure none of our fans will be critical of it like Dan Fiden will be when he does the Backtracking podcast." So you're fucking up what they were trying to do, which was just create a lighthearted song, making a comment on the music industry. And they did it in a way where they're like, you know, we can make a strong and simple beat that you can dance to too.
Yeah, all of that, I think, Rolf, is a good little. That's a good scenario.
And I promised our listeners we'd go to the mats this episode, and I just took you to the fucking mats.
But you haven't. You actually have managed to completely avoid the question that I asked, which is why did they use the word superconductor in here? It makes no sense.
I want to ask you one question.
Yeah.
Say uncle.
All right, and let's move on to the music. Let's move on to the music. So, Rolf, though you're making the argument that you can dance to this song, and maybe you can, it's unusual because it's the only song on this album, and I think probably you could go back into the Skinny Ties era, and you'd have to do a little bit of work to find the last one, where a substantial part of the song is in kind of an unusual time signature. I think that the verses here are in 7/4. Or 7/8.
Well, you can't dance to that part of the song. I'm talking about the later part of the song.
Well, you can dance to it. You just need to make sure to do a little hitch in your step at the end of that.
You can do a hurdy-gurdy dance.
Yeah, on that 7.
Okay, well,
extra little.
I don't know if this is lyrics or music, but the "That's Nice" voice is back. Is that like with the superconductor?
Superconductor.
Is that Rupert Hine or is that Alex again? Do we know that?
No, I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know. So, all right, Rolf. You want to talk about the lyrics? I'll look up the answer to that, and then we can, I'll get into my last point. It's a question for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's about the illusion of media, right? And I think we're much more attuned to it today than we were back then. I think we're a much more media literate society, just broadly speaking. And I think back, if you can, the historical context, if you put it back into the context of the times, I don't think people were as aware of the type of manipulation that goes on behind the scenes when you look at a magazine cover or you listen to music or whatever it may be. Keep in mind, this was 1989. Remember, Milli Vanilli had that song, Girl, You Know It's True. And when it came out that they weren't actually singing on the song, it was like a huge, huge scandal, right?
True.
It was like, how dare, oh my God. Now it's like, whatever. Right? When I worked at Universal Music, we would do like shows for like, Singular, which became AT&T. And we would work with like Live Nation to put on a show like in Indianapolis or wherever it might be, like Universal City. And we would get the raw tracks back from Live Nation, right? So we would actually hear all the stems and everything. And we would actually be able to go in and listen to the live mic and the TV track. And the way they do those, if you listen to the live mic of like almost every artist who recorded, I'm gonna withhold their names because I don't want to out anyone. They cannot sing. Like it's embarrassingly bad, invariably, what the live vocals are. And what they do is they play the two so that there's enough live vocals so that whoever's mixing it, if the vocalist decides to do something impromptu, it'll come through and they'll just turn up the volume real quick and they'll take it back down. And then you have the TV track being the pre-recorded vocals. Most of these singer-songwriters, and in fairness, if you're doing a huge stage show where you're dancing and singing, it makes sense that, your voice is going to, Michael Jackson did all his real shit. Madonna does all her real shit. So there are artists that do the real stuff. But a lot of the artists that we did were like up and coming, sort of, I don't want to say flash in a pan, because one that I'm thinking of in particular is a huge star now. Back then, she was still very young and green. But if you listen to the TV tracks, it's all illusion. We know that now, and I think we accept it. But back then, in 1989, it would have been scandalous to know this stuff. So I think what he's doing is he's revealing to the world, hey, this is how the sausage is made.
Well, those were some interesting comments about the music of Superconductor, Rolf. Thank you.
And
anecdotes of your time.
Where's the fucking butt?
Hollywood Rolf. So to answer the most direct question, Rupert Hine did the backing track on this. He's the one who sings Superconductor. Now the question that I have for you about this music, I commented that it's on odd time signature in those verses, which I think is unique. They haven't really done that for a little while. The second thing that they haven't done, they did it, a couple of times I think at least one time that I remember calling out in the Skinny Ties era. There is a key change, and I think there may be two key changes in the repeat of the chorus at the end of this song. Right. Is that correct, Rafi?
You're right. I believe there are two too.
And how do we feel about key changes?
I think it worked. I think it works in this one. And again, I want to say one more thing thematically about it.
Okay.
I don't think he's being cynical in a in a like sort of disgusted way. I think he's making a sort of like, I think if you were to ask Neil about this and see him writing it, he'd kind of look at it kind of in a little bit of humor, because like I have kids of my own, you know, they're growing up here in LA, and it's like sort of ground zero for illusion of entertainment. And the way, and when I was the age when I first listened to this album, I was 14 years old. I would have been very like cynical about, fucking pop stars are all full of shit. They're fake and plastic people, whatever. But I've grown, and I've worked in the record industry. I've worked in entertainment. And what I've learned is, you know what? You can have fun with it, right? You can enjoy this superconductor, right? You can enjoy this illusion for what it is. Just understand what it is. And I think that's sort of the vibe he's giving off here, is like, it's kind of funny now that I know how the sausage is made. This is how it happens, and you can dance to it, and we're gonna make a dance. Like, so I don't think it's like a cynical in a bad way. I think it's just sort of pulling the curtain and saying, hey, there it is. Enjoy it if you want, but at least know what you're enjoying, right?
Yeah. Well, I think that you are approaching this song with the same level of grace that you approach many Rush songs with, and I appreciate that. I will not give them that grace. I think the lyrics are silly,
Okay.
and bordering on a little childish, which doesn't happen frequently with Pierre. But listen, I think the music is okay. I like that the verses are in odd time signature. I think the chorus is very memorable. But overall, not my favorite. I don't think it's a strong opener for the second side of the album. Let me just say.
To use a Kids in the Hall quote,
yes,
when Kevin McDonald was playing Einstein painting the fence white, or actually, I'm sorry, it was David Foley as a worker painting a fence, and Einstein, as Kevin McDonald, comes up and he says, "Oh, so you're painting the fence?" And the painter looks at him and says, "That's right, Einstein." We don't know it's Einstein yet, right? You just know it's a guy. "That's right, Einstein. What are you, a genius? Like that I'm painting the fence," because it's so obvious, right? Yeah. And then they turn to Kevin McDonald, and we see that it's actually Einstein. And he says, "Not everything out of my mouth can be the theory of relativity." And that's the way I look at this song. Not everything out of Rush's catalog can be, like, you know, Manhattan
Agreed.
Project. So
Agreed. No,
give them this like fun. It's in the middle of the album. They're not putting it up front. They're not putting it at the end. There's more substantive music at the bookending this album, so they're putting it right in the middle on beginning of side 2.
They're making a shit sandwich, is what you're saying.
No, we're coming back to the podcast to do side 2. Let's start it off light, because we're going to get deep. Trust me, we're going to get deep.
All right. Well, listen. On that note, why don't we move on to the second track on side B? This one is called Anagram for Mongo. It is a flat 4 minutes, shortest song on the album. You know who wrote the lyrics. You know who wrote the music. I'm not even going to tell you. If you need to ask, you just need to go to the woodshed and do some studying, my friend. Let's listen to it, Rafi, now.
Music and lyrics by Eddie Cantor. So I was kidding about Eddie Cantor, by the way. Yeah.
Okay.
So this song,
yes,
is just a fucking joy to listen to. I think it's just a joy.
I'm going to totally agree with you there. But before we even get into any of it, I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
That I thought about, for myself when I was kind of like doing my notes on the album and on the lyrics specifically. How much time over the years have you spent trying to make an anagram out of Mongo to uncover some meaning to this song?
So yeah, I was going to ask you what is for Mongo?
Yeah. Okay. So for years, Ralph, from the first time I ever heard this.
And by the way, I don't
song,
even know. So this is all like live for me.
Yeah, no. So from the beginning of when I first got this album, it said for Mongo, and I was like, oh, the code to understanding these lyrics must be in finding the anagram for the word Mongo that is going to tell me something about the name of this song. I have now, and I spent, like, I'm not even joking, over the years, I've spent like time, not endless amounts of time, but time doing it. There's an Anagram server out there that you can just put a word in and it'll generate every word. It is, for Mongo, is actually a reference to a character in Blazing Saddles named Mongo.
Yeah,
So
Mongo. Yeah, Mongo eat Mongo.
So
yeah.
So it is.
So it's not an anagram. It is
not
Mongo.
an anagram. No, I know it's actually a supreme troll, and they totally.
Oh my God!
I know.
And you know what? Like people are. Oh, you couldn't make Blazing Saddles is celebrated today. It's fucking brilliant.
So, all right, listen. Anagram for Mongo. I think
why is it for Mongo? Why is it dedicated?
I don't know why, but I know that the Mongo that they're referring to is the Mongo in Blazing Saddles. I don't know what the context is. I don't know what the backstory is, but I know that it is not actually a direction that you're supposed to come up with an anagram for the word Mongo. So the lyrics for this song, I think, if it isn't clear already, this is a song that is just pure, I'm going to say gimmickry because I've used that word previously. But really, I don't mean it in a negative way. Peart, over the course of his career.
No, they knew this what it was. Yeah.
Becomes more and more interested in these like kind of like poetic or like language tricks. Interesting turns of phrase, double meanings, kind of repurposing of, cliches. And he just gets more interested in wordplay over the course of his career. And this song, I think, really is kind of like the apex of his interest in that. Every line includes one or more anagrams for another word in the line. Yeah. And so I think any meaning that we bring to this song is really, it's kind of this Dadaist thing, right? It's like we're bringing all of the meaning to the song because he's just using these like, basically these word games to generate the lyrics entirely. But it works so great.
Every anagram is like a song into itself. And I think we could read the entire lyrics and it would be riveting. But the chorus, there is no safe seat at the feast. So seat and feast. Take your best stab at the beast. The night is turning thin, night thin. The saint is turning to sin. But the entire song and the music, well, I don't want to get to the music yet, but the entire song is just so playful and masterful. Because even though it is relatively disjointed and sort of disparate, the different anagrams, they somehow, Neil somehow makes it a cohesive piece of work lyrically.
Yeah, it really is. Like, these lyrics are really worth reading through. These are lyrics that, again, I said that like wound and unwound, that turn of phrase on Hold Your Fire, it works much better when read as opposed to heard, because the spelling of wound and wound is identical, but like when you hear it, you don't really think about that. The same with these lyrics. I think the full appreciation of these lyrics requires you to actually read them all on paper and kind of appreciate all of the little anagrams that he's done in it. It's really
and during the choruses, he's doing 3 words he's doing 2 words out of 1. So there's no safe and seat comes out of feast, best and stab come out of beast. And later on, they say, I hear in the rate of her heart. So hear and rate come out of heart. A tear in the heat of the art, right? So that is coming from tear. No, actually, no. Sorry, I fucked up. That's not in there. But during the main chorus, that's what you hear.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's definitely worth going through. I don't think it's probably productive for us to have a conversation about the meaning of these words because I really just don't think there's any meaning. It's just a really, really effective game. One of the things that I think is so remarkable, though, about these lyrics is to the point that I think you were partially making. The lyrics to the chorus of this song are incredibly memorable. This is another one of these choruses that I've had stuck in my head basically since 1990. As soon as I put this album back on, easily sing along with this chorus like I last heard it the day before.
And it's
really
kind of
takes me back.
nerdy. It's like nerdy in a literary sense.
Totally nerdy.
It cements even further Rush's nerd cred.
Yeah, but really great. I love this song, and I love the fact that he did this with the lyrics, especially because he's really got this reputation, I think, of being over serious sometimes. And I think Rush lyrics overly sincere, overly kind of like earnest.
One of the things that is like chicken soup for the soul, and you can find it on YouTube. It's the guys in Rush having dinner. And it's like an hour after you've seen it. They're ordering wine and they get progressively more drunk throughout the night. And it's just seeing them genuinely together in like the back room of some restaurant, just drinking wine and having dinner. It's after I think they moved that after Neil moved to Los Angeles. So they were, getting together before a tour or before recording or something. There was some reason they were getting together, but it was just like, I mean, you just are like, man, these guys have had a fucking life. They really have. Yeah.
So Ralph, do you want to talk about the music for this song?
Yeah, the music is not really remarkable. I mean, the music is sort of a background to let the lyrics shine again, and I think it's wonderful. It's a nice ambling. It flows. It's like the music flows. It keeps the pace of the lyrics moving forward, and that's what its function is, and that's what it does remarkably well. And it does have some very, I don't want to say epic, but it does have some very inspirational moments, right? Like the main sort of like riff with the keyboards, dun dun dun.
Yeah,
the instrumental part. It has sort of a very inspirational kind of feel to it. It broadens out a bit, but yeah, I mean, there's nothing super remarkable about the music. Am I wrong?
No, I mean it's pretty poppy. It's kind of like really accessible. I think the most remarkable, the most remarkable thing about the core of about this song, in my opinion, musically, is just how incredibly catchy the chorus is, and it really is that melody line. It's just really, really, really memorable and like easy to sing along with. It's just like it's very sweet. It's like, you know what I mean? It's sing-songy. It's just like a very good chorus.
I mean, you've worked in video games. The music to me sounds like an 80s video game. Doesn't it a little bit?
I mean, definitely the level of accessibility of kind of just the melody that carries the song, I think definitely has that feel.
I'm thinking more of the chords in the background, like the pads and stuff like that. Like if this was like Marble Madness and you heard this music behind it, you'd be like, oh, that totally fits.
I mean, this is as light a song as Rush has done in 6 albums anyway.
Musically.
Albums.
Yeah, even lyrically.
Everything, lyrically and musically. Like this really is much more evocative of a song like Passage to Bangkok or something, where they're really not taking themselves seriously.
So
you know
compare
what I mean?
it to Grace Under Pressure, how fucking bleak that was. And here we're like post-history, Superconductor, Anagram, and it's really now the next song. I'm not jumping ahead. This is not a segue. The next song it takes a decidedly bleaker turn, but they're giving us a little bit of lightness, which they don't always give us.
I think it should be a segue, Ralph. I think it's a perfect segue. I think we're ready.
Before we do that segue, I just want to give one little anecdote about Mel Brooks, because I can't believe the song is dedicated to a character in a Mel Brooks movie, Blazing Saddles. So I used to work on the Culver Studios a lot. Mel Brooks has his office there.
This episode is turning into Rafi's Hollywood stories.
So
like, hey, kid,
first story was Carly Simon on the Disney lot.
Let me tell you the way it used to be when I worked in Hollywood.
This was when Sony was on the Culver. Now it's Amazon Studios. It's like the lot is where Amazon Studios is based. But Mel Brooks had an office there. I don't know if he still does. And I remember it was 2008. It was during the 2008 election. And one of my team members was walking to lunch, because you got to walk across the lot to get into downtown Culver City, right past his office. And it was totally empty, like probably at like 10 o'clock in the morning. And he's walking, and Mel Brooks is like walking towards him. And this is one of the great things about working on a lot, is you can have these personal interactions with people that like no one else is around, right? So he's walking towards Mel Brooks. He's just going to walk past him, right? And Mel Brooks stops him. He looks at him and he points at him and goes, "Obama." And then he just keeps walking. I mean, imagine.
Ralph, I'm glad that you shared that. That story was wow.
But you have to envision Mel Brooks, like little Mel Brooks, walking across the studio and just stopping someone, not saying anything else, and pointing at him and going Obama, and then just walking on.
Well, there it is, guys. Imagine it, Hollywood.
Okay,
Wild
so that is our
days.
segue.
Okay, the segue is Red Tide.
I don't know how they're connected, but introduce the next song.
Red Tide. It's almost like a red tide of blood from how painful that story was, Rob. So
excellent segue. You salvaged it.
Here we go with Red Tide. This song is 4 minutes 29 seconds. Again, pretty brief little song. Why don't we just dive right into it, Roth?
Oh God, I'm glad I'm drinking, man, because this song is just fucking bleak again.
It's, I mean, is there?
They teased us. They teased us with these fun little songs about frivolous topics and wordplay, and then they drop this fucking heavyweight right on top of us, like a fucking anvil weight. Thanks, Rush.
I mean, there is a line in this that really feels evocative of this era. It probably would be, you know, I don't know if it's as relatable today, but lovers pause to find an open store really speaks to that moment in time. Ooh. Relatively soon after the AIDS crisis kind of started. This was very much in the zeitgeist. That's just one little nugget in this song that I think speaks to a more generalized sense of pessimism and concern about like the state of the world, the environment, just the evolution of civilization. That's really the way that I interpreted this song. And it reminded me quite a bit of the song Distant Early Warning from Grace Under Pressure. Yeah. The kind of tone.
Yeah, and you know what? This I'm going to get again political, Neil Peart political again, which I know our listeners love.
Could you follow that up with a little bit of Hollywood anecdote?
No, there's no Hollywood story here to be told.
Okay,
but so as I said before, Neil Peart characterized himself as a bleeding heart libertarian, and he said that in an interview in response to some degree to a lot of sort of like Rush incels who tend to glom onto especially his earlier recordings about like Something for Nothing and whatnot, and his embracing Ayn Rand, which has more recently in American politics been embraced by people like fucking Matt Gaetz and these nihilists, right? They're not even conservative; they're just political nihilists, right? Who call themselves conservative. And this is Neil Peart showing he's more of like a progressive libertarian, like a Teddy Roosevelt libertarian, who is one of the great environmental, protectionist presidents we've ever had. Even Nixon, I mean, he created the EPA, Richard Nixon, both of them Republicans, both of them conservatives, but also understanding the importance of progressivism. And I think this is an example, or at least an insight into Neil Peart's thinking, where he is deeply concerned about the state of our environment, about how we can live on this planet and not have to find an open store with your lover. One of the things that is striking about the lyrics, though, is that this is not a false alarm. This is not a test. And that's sort of the pre-chorus. Those are written in all caps. Like that's how they're written in the lyrics. So that's, reading the lyrics actually takes it a step further than just listening to the music even.
Yeah, which is definitely something that I think we're seeing more and more with his lyrics, right? Like we've talked about that a little bit. I think that this is a really effective. Overall, I think these lyrics are really effective. He doesn't talk about one specific environmental problem. He talks kind of, evocatively about a lot of different symptoms, but he never really speaks exactly to what the ailment is that he's concerned about. Instead, I think more effectively, he just talks about, hey, listen, the time, generally speaking, kind of says the time is now. We've got to address this. We need to. The party's been disrupted by an uninvited guest. The guest here, obviously, is whatever it is, the issue that he's talking about. But I think it's I think the overall, these are very effective lyrics.
But in typical Neil Peart fashion, he ends it on a positive note. He says, let us not go gently to the endless winter night. He's basically saying, let's not just sit on our hands here. We can do something about it. And that's what I fucking love about Neil Peart. No matter what he sings about, he never has a defeatist attitude towards anything. It's always about, you can do anything. You can accomplish anything if you set your mind to it. And he does it in a way that his feet are firmly planted on the ground. He's not being wistful about it. He's not trying to delude himself into thinking that things are easy or not hard. He actually seems to embrace the difficulty in these type of situations, acknowledging that that's where character is formed, that times of adversity are not times to cower and to be fearful and to give up, but that's where your true character is tested. And that's where greatness happens. And that's why even this song that is pretty bleak, I'm struggling to find positivity and grace under pressure writ large. But in this song, at least, it ends on a can do.
It's a rallying cry.
Yeah, it's a rallying cry. It's not hopeless.
Yeah, that's right. No, I think it's a really effective song. And then I think if you want to kind of like move into the music a little bit, it is again a really memorable commercial song, especially this chorus. Very
synthy in the beginning, at least.
Yeah, really interestingly synthy, right? Like,
yeah.
But an interesting and I think effective use of keyboards and guitar. This is again, I think, one of the songs on this album where they find, in my opinion, a much more timeless marriage of guitar and keyboards than they found in the Skinny Ties era. I think the Skinny Ties era, I really like those, in some cases, I really like those albums, but I will say that they can sound a little bit dated. I don't think this album sounds dated.
And you know what it is, specifically, the contrast in these songs, all of these songs, is expertly done. Because just use this song as an example. It starts off with this very sort of frenetically paced dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, and then a very sort of hard driving dun-dun-dun-dun, these synth hits, right? Yep. And then it pulls back and it sort of like mellows out. And then the lyrics, though, are just as intense as the beginning, but the music pulls back. And they give the lyrics space to express themselves. Stay out of the sun, it only burns my skin. Sky's full of poison and the atmosphere too thin. And then it gets in, and then it goes up. I mean, just dynamically, this song really exemplifies how they've really mastered the art of songwriting and arrangement. And credit to Rupert Hine for stepping in and finding that, or continuing what Collins did with the previous two albums. I think he did it in a really really great way. He takes the raw materials, translate it to more guitar-driven rock, more organic rock. But there's no less complexity in the songwriting, the arrangements in this than there was in Hold Your Fire, Power Windows.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I would agree. I mean, I think that this song specifically, at the beginning of the last episode of Backtracking, I had said to you, I would really love to hear the Rush and Rupert Hine that made Presto go back and re-record like Grace Under Pressure and Hold Your Fire with this same approach. This was the actual song that made me feel that. Like, this was the specific song that made me feel like, gosh, I really kind of wish they would, go back and re-hit some of those Hold Your Fire songs.
It's funny though, you and I'm not just saying, you probably could do something like that using AI. I don't know what tools you would use. So if anyone knows, go do it and send it to us, and we'll take credit for it. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. So Raf, anything else we want to talk about with Red Tide, or should we move on?
No, I think we're going to end it on a high note. I think I like the song. Yeah, it's a
okay.
Good song.
Excellent. So let's move on to Hand Over Fist. So 4 minutes and 11 seconds.
Let's skip this one. Let's go straight to Available Light.
So why don't we just dig right into this? This is the penultimate song on this album, Raf. So let's cherish it like it were a fine scotch.
is, when you buy a scotch and you're like, it's like a $70, $80 bottle of scotch and you've never heard of it before, but you're like, okay, it's in that price range and it's at this store that I trust. And then you bring it home and you're like, it's drinkable. I'll finish it. But that's what this song is.
Yeah. It's like,
it's not like, holy shit, like I
think,
paid twice. Like, I mean, sometimes you get a scotch like that and you're like, holy shit, this should be like a $500 bottle of scotch.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about the lyrics here first, Roth. I actually really love that he kind of used the Rochambeau mechanic in these lyrics. It makes for a very memorable chorus.
Explain to us what that is, because I don't know it.
Okay, Rochambeau is just rock, paper, scissors.
Okay.
Yeah. So
you could have just fucking said that instead of making.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry.
Right, thanks a lot.
Rock,
Anyways,
paper, scissors.
Yeah, sure.
For those of you who are fucking not,
rock, paper, scissors. It's fucking
cretins like Roth, it's Rochambeau. But if you're a cretin, then it's rock, paper, scissors. So anyway, but I really like that. I love the way he used that. I mean, again, it's an example of his little wordplay thing that he's done kind of mid-career towards late career, but it works really well. And I think it lends itself to like a very memorable chorus, because people kind of have this understanding of how rock, paper, scissors works, and they kind of apply that to the lyrics. It just makes the whole thing, I think, really memorable. And yeah.
And can I interrupt you for a second? So at the very top of this episode, or the previous episode, I said this is, to me, the most masterful lyric writing of any Rush album. And I think what you just said sort of speaks to that. The fact that they go to so many different themes, and they have very deep themes and very lighthearted themes and very playful. I mean, it really is, lyrically speaking, this album is a masterwork for Neil Peart's lyric writing, I think.
It is. I think these are great lyrics. I think the other thing about these lyrics that I've got to say, I think work especially well. Verses 2 and 3 work very well, and they feel, again, very personal to me, and as though they're about a personal relationship. Like I feel like he's not talking in the abstract about what one should do. This isn't the anthem Neil Peart, right? This is Neil Peart talking about his life and his feelings, in my opinion. And I just love verses 2 and 3. I think they work the best.
Yeah, I mean, I this song does very little for me other than the wordplay.
Yeah. Okay.
And I respect and I admire and I can appreciate the wordplay, but it doesn't hit me emotionally at all. Musically or lyrically.
Yeah, I just think it my interpretation of these lyrics is that he basically has, this is a song about grace. I think it is easy for us to kind of ball up our fist and be aggressive and not provide grace. But he really kind of like says, like, where is it in the second? Hand over hand doesn't seem so much. Hand over hand is the strength of the common touch. He's saying, like, this shouldn't be Rochambeau, like, just join hands. I mean, that can seem a little bit trite, but when you couple it with verses that are like, you talk as we walk along. You never imagined I could be so wrong. Humming your favorite song. I've hated that song for so long. This like really speaks to this moment of like supreme tension between two people. He goes on to talk about that more, but then he kind of comes back and says like, gosh, we need to kind of like not let those moments of tension and those things that happen naturally between two people dominate the way we interact. We need to have this spirit of kind of being open-handed a little bit more. And I think it's a simple, straightforward message, but I think it's executed in these lyrics pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have anything else to say about the song because it just really didn't hit me. Yeah. Right, I mean, musically, it's fine. It's a great penultimate song because that another song, which I really like, is coming afterwards.
Yeah.
And that last song, let's segue. I mean, if that's you have anything to say.
Yeah, no. So like the only thing I want to say about the lyrics, I completely agree with you. It is not bad, but it's pretty forgettable musically. Yeah. And there's something
it's not the song that I hated for so long that he refers to in his lyrics.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's not bad. It's just inoffensive and kind of forgettable. But there's something about the guitar sound in this song, Ralph, that I wanted to mention to you. It struck me. I couldn't put my finger on exactly what it was, but it sounded dated to me. And I was like, God, it just sounds kind of Rupert Hine, like from 1984, 85 Rupert Hine. I don't know what it was, but there was something about the guitar sound in here that just like kind of annoyed me. I don't want to say it annoyed me. It just sounded dated. It didn't sound like it fit with the rest of this album. Maybe on a re-listen you can check that out. But it like
I can't really connect with that right now. But
all right, well then why don't we connect with Available Light, Ralph?
All right.
5
minutes, 2 seconds. This is the final track on Rush Presto. Final track on side 2 as well. Track number 11. It's called Available Light. So last week, I was bar hopping with Dax, who was going to be our special guest for this before we sort of booked it very quickly. For those at home playing along, Dan's going to be going on vacation because he's a lazy son of a bitch. So we're going to try and bank some episodes to release them to you in a timely fashion. But we were going to bring a special guest on for a couple of these albums. We decided to do it for the live albums just because we were slackers. But when we were driving from one bar to another, I'm like, put on a song, just like any song. And the one song he picked was Available Light from Presto. So
I love it. I think a strong choice. Now, is there any reason if you had said the one song he put on was like,
it was fitting. It was like sort of
Bad
towards the end of the night.
Like CC&R, I would have been like, what the fuck are you talking about? No.
Yeah, it was fitting. And, it's interesting though. So back to what I said at the end of Hold Your Fire. And remember how I said the final track on Hold Your Fire sort of evocative of like Mothers of the Disappeared, which I erroneously said was the last album song on Joshua
Really
Tree.
Fucked that up, Rob.
Yeah, I fucked it up.
Pissed.
So this is that type of song. And I think we've discussed this before. You live in Hawaii, I live in LA. Weather is, typically very nice in both these places.
Yeah.
There is something about like Buffalo, Toronto, like cold weather, overcast weather that makes Rush that much more sweeter and relevant. Like, I don't am I wrong in this? Like when you listen to a song like this or a lot of Rush songs on an overcast February day when it's like rainy or snowy, I don't know. Maybe it's because that's where my formative years listening to Rush. It doesn't. It still moves me being in nice weather, but there's something about the weather, like cold, like where the music just you go deeper with it because it's like a refuge that's taking you away from
the cold weather.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's not just the cold weather. Just like we have endless overcast gray days there, right? So
yeah, it's true.
And I mean, and I think to tie it to like the Beatles, same thing with like Liverpool. Why did this kind of creativity come out of Liverpool? And I do kind of feel seeing people in LA that are from here, very talented, but a lot of what's being created seems to lack that deep sort of need to create an escape, right? That you might feel if you're from a cold gray. I don't know. I'm going off. I'm going to see
your argument. I'm going to raise you a Beach Boys Brian Wilson.
Yeah. Case closed, guys. Case closed. The jury, my friends. Okay, so another little. I'm going to drop some names here again too. Why not? I've been doing it all episode. So up the street, block away is the Glenn Center, right? And one time I was having dinner there with my wife, and a group of 4 people walked by. My wife's like, they're famous. I don't know who they are, but they're famous. And I look at these people and I see their backs to me, then one of them turns around and gives me like the peace sign. It was fucking Ringo Starr, and he was with Joe Walsh, who's his brother-in-law, because they're married to sisters. And 3 doors down in that same plaza is the Beverly Glen Deli, where Brian Wilson is a regular. Like he's there like every 3-4 times a week. Orders a bowl of blueberries like in the morning for breakfast. And so like up the street, I could test this theory. I could get the guy from Liverpool and I could get the guy from LA and be like, how has the weather affected your creativity? I'm going to do that. So next episode.
If what you're saying is a fair test is Brian Wilson versus Ringo Starr. I mean, listen, God love Ringo Starr, but that is like, a fucking nuclear missile against a slingshot. Brian Wilson is a fucking certified genius.
Shit.
Ringo Starr is an adorable old guy. I mean,
if you could get Paul to come, then it'll be a fair fight.
Yeah, no, I think that would be a much more fair fight.
Anyway, let's scrap that.
Let's talk about the lyrics here, Ralph. Yeah. Overall, I think these are really effective lyrics. Although I didn't come away from these lyrics and my close study of them really sure what exactly he was saying, but there is a tone in these lyrics that is wistful and mournful in the verses and hopeful in the chorus, very much matches the music, I think. But I didn't really come away with like a sense of what it is that he was talking about. Did you?
Yes. So first of all, they're talking about wind again, right?
Yeah, wind.
They've been talking about wind a lot these past couple of albums, right? Like Force 10 and so what I'm getting from this is, again, it's sort of accepting things as they are, right? It's a look. I might like perfection does not exist. In fact, there's another lyric. Where is it? Maybe it's on Hold Your Fire where they talk about perfection not existing. Or I know there's another lyric in Rush lyricdom that he talks about perfection as being an inattainable state. Help me out here. It's in one of the albums near this. Shit, it'll come to me.
Well, it'll.
And I think that what he's saying here is circumstances will never be as you wish they were, and you have to live in the moment. And that's how I'm going to live, in the available light. I'm not going to try and create artificial light. I'm just going to live in the available light, and nothing can take me from that. And it really seems to me to be a song about living in the present and just taking it all in the moment. And that's pretty consistent theme that we've heard from other songs with Rush. Yeah,
you know what, Ralph? I buy that reading of these lyrics. I think that's a pretty good interpretation, and I do think that resonates for me.
Well, thank you for joining us on
Yeah, no, I mean, I think great lyrics, and I think you did describe it pretty effectively. He's not super specific in this, but I do think that sometimes when he is less specific in his lyrics, they're more evocative and they're less kind of overtly descriptive or prescriptive. They work better, and I think this is a really good example of that. But talk about that. Sorry.
Well, I was going to segue to the music more articulately than you were, in a more articulate manner. So, and to that point, when he's speaking about these in more obscure terms, I think we can look to the music to give us real answers. So
okay, let's look to that music. Now, I think that this is one of the most interesting things about this song is that it is such a contrast from every other song on this album. It is one of the most downbeat Rush songs that I can think of across the entire catalog.
Very bluesy guitars. And
they end the album with it. It's an interesting track to select to end the album.
I think it's a fucking brilliant ending track. Like, of all the tracks, this should have been the last one.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about, well, we haven't talked a lot about it, but I do remember actually in the what is it, Caressa? What album has In the End on it? The first album, Rush.
No,
right?
In the End is Fly By Night, isn't it?
Yeah, Fly By Night. Sorry, Fly By Night. So, but we talked about what a great album ender that track is, and how interesting choices to end albums are something that I think, are kind of fun to think about when you think about album construction by other bands. We talked about Radiohead. I mentioned Radiohead, how good they are at selecting tracks to end albums. Yeah. This song is, I think, to the point that you made, it's just it must have been a really conscious choice, because this song is so much different than every other song on this album.
Okay, so I have a technical question, and maybe you can answer this for me.
Yes.
So the lyrics going like out of the chorus goes, "I want to look at life," and then it goes in the is it like there's a hit, and I can't tell if it's a vocal or if it's an overtone or if it's a keyboard, but there's like a the available light. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know the moment in the song that you're talking about, but I just thought that was vocals. I thought that
Does Getty
vocal.
go and sing like a high in the available?
Yeah.
Does he? Because
I always thought
the lyrics actually say in the available light, but you only hear the available.
Yeah, I always assumed that was Getty singing a high note on that in, but I could be wrong. I didn't catch anything else.
Huh. Okay.
Well,
yeah, but
anyway,
this is again a very inspirational song, and I think but it's also very introspective and therefore very pensive in its mood, and that's what I keep coming back to, this whole concept of a secular Bible, and this is another chapter in that.
No, these are very evocative lyrics. Now, in a couple of little things I wanted to ask you about in the music. So it's a sequencer that we hear low in the mix on this song, right? It sounds kind of like a bass, but when I listened to it a little more closely, it kind of just sounded a bit mechanical and not quite like the bass sound on the rest.
I mean, it could be Ged and Neil just doing their thing.
But I felt like it was such an interesting song and an interesting part. It's very low in the mix, but I think it's purely additive. I liked that. I could be wrong about it being a sequencer or something, but it sounded like that to me. And then there's this acoustic piano. It sounds like an acoustic piano. I think what it is a keyboard that is using an acoustic piano like sound sample or whatever.
Yeah,
but
probably.
This is one place on here I wished they used a real acoustic piano. And I kind of wish that it was a little less tight and clean than it is. I feel like if that piano part were a little bit sloppier, a little bit more organic sounding, it would give the song a bit less of a... We've talked about this before.
It didn't bother me, but I see what you're saying. And it's definitely a synth sampled piano, and I think part of the reason why they did that is they want things that they can perform live and have them be what they recorded.
Yeah, I mean they're well known for that, and I think it results in like fucking amazing live shows. If you've ever seen Rush live, it's been a long time since I have. But anybody out there,
there's rumors that they might play again.
Let's hope not. I'm actually going to hope not. We can talk about that maybe in the live. Maybe when we do a live album podcast, we can talk about whether we'd like to see them live again. But I think it would be a little bit of a bummer to see him without Neil. But anyway, that's a digression. Overall, I think my only comment on this is that this is such a kind of soulful, interesting song that I did wish it was a little. Sometimes I just kind of wish Rush was a little looser. They can sound a little bit mechanical because they're just so technically proficient and driving and whatever. But I would like a little bit of slop on this song. But overall, I think it's a terrific song. So, Roth, do you want to move on, because it's a critical moment here?
This is the time where we put our partnership to the test and wonder if we're going to be back next week.
This is this is your game to lose right here, Roth. You got two questions you got to answer for all the marbles.
Ask me I don't know what the questions are, so ask me.
All right, are you ready? I just want to make sure that you're ready.
I'm ready. I'm sitting down.
Ready? All right, Roth. What is the best song?
Let's do worst first. Let's do worst first. Let's go. Let's talk about that.
You want to do worst first? All right, I'll allow it.
Hand over fist.
It's a hand over fist, really?
Wait, ask the question.
Okay, Roth, I'd like to know what the worst song is
hand over
on
fist.
Rush's album Presto.
Hand over fist.
It's hand over fist.
All right, so what's the other question?
I'm sorry, no, you're wrong. The worst song on this album is, without a doubt, Superconductor. It is Superconductor, Roth, and it's difficult to argue anything.
I want to say fuck you, but I can't. So,
well, okay. So now the best.
We'll agree to disagree.
Roth, the best
song, wait. I would say The Pass.
Yeah, you know what? You're absolutely right in
I gotta say
saying
The
The
Pass.
Pass.
Yeah.
The Pass is the best song on this album. It is a real masterpiece.
I agree. I'm glad we at least ended on that.
Ralph. All right. Now, listen, I got to tell you, this next album that we're going to do is, of course, Counterparts.
No,
This
not
is
Counterparts. It's Rolled Bones.
Oh, no, that's right. It is
1991's Roll the Bones.
I always try to forget Roll the
Jack,
Bones because
get back.
it is.
Get busy with the facts. No zodiacs or almanacs, no radio.
I cannot
Maniacs
believe that
and
there's a rap
polyester
in a
slacks.
Rush
Just a fact.
song.
Gonna
This
kick
is
some
really-
really smacks. Parallax, you dig? Well, it's big. It's a rig.
This is going to be tough to get through. Now, there are some real great songs on Roll the Bones, but we'll talk about that in the next episode.
Yeah, Rush raps in the next episode.
As always, you bring so much to the podcast. You're an incredible partner.
As do you,
This
Dan, and
week-
as are you.
This week, what you brought was Hollywood stories. True,
Yeah.
Rafi's true Hollywood stories.
That's a pretty deep well, so there's more where that came from.
I know. I can't wait. I
I got a
cannot.
burn book. We'll talk about it next time.
Well, listen, Raf, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Fans out there, thank you for listening. Thank you for making us part of your day. Thank you for smashing the fuck out of the like button.
Amen. Preach it, brother.
Thank you for sharing this podcast with your friends, your old
Hallelujah.
friends, your new friends, potential girlfriends. If you see Brian Wilson and where was it in
The deli.
Studio City buying blueberries, share it with him. I mean, fuck, guys, share this. It's for free. It's not going to cost you anything to share it. Just share
Don't be
it.
a prick. Don't be a prick.
If you want to get in touch with us, at Backtracking Rocks, ROX, on Instagram or X. Same name on Reddit. Go to Reddit. Send us a private message. Just fucking do it.
Give us
It's
some
not going to
cred.
cost you. Hey,
Yeah.
what are you doing? You're sitting around fucking watching TikTok like a dickhead? Why don't you fucking get in touch? You animal?
Insult our listeners a little bit more. I think that'll motivate them.
Why don't you just email sometimes? I haven't gotten an email from you in fucking months. It's
Like you, Niles.
Backtracking Rocks, ROX at gmail.com. Fuck, I mean, I put all my time into this goddamn thing. The least you could do is send me a fucking email. Subscribe. Rate the podcast.
I have the feeling our listenership's going to quadruple after this episode.
All right, listen, Ralph, it's been fun.
It has been. Thank you for joining us, and we'll be back next time with Roll the Bones.
Bye-bye.